Hey, Mike Callahan here. Got a good one this morning. Saw a post on a Facebook group that I'm in, and I'm not going to mention the gentleman's name, but I'm going to read out the question here. But want to talk about how do we deal with companies that are under the table, do not pay taxes, have employees that are not on the books, and low ballers? Well, I have the answer for you this morning, and this is something I'm passionate about. But I'm going to read part of the question here so you got some context to the story, and then I'm going to dive in how you tackle all three of these and go out and eliminate and crush this competition once and for all. So question here is, how do you feel about working against non-legal companies? No payroll taxes, no workman's comp. Gentleman says the other company owners in his area and himself are talking about creating a group or a phone number that would be statewide. And if contractors didn't have a license, they would get fined up to $2,500. And the homeowner that hired them would be fined $250. He said he talked to a congressman in his area, and he kind of balked at the idea of the homeowner paying the fine. Basically, he's saying, how can they go out and compete against people that are low ballers? There should be a fair price that's market instituted. Well, that was the summary of what I've just got off a Facebook group. Well, I'm going to break it down play by play, how you deal with this, my thoughts on it. I'm sure people are going to agree and possibly disagree, which is totally fine. But I'm going to give you my take on it step by step. So first thing I want to talk about is how do we deal with companies that do not pay taxes? They're off the books. It's a cash money operation, and they have employees that are under the table. Well, I'm going to tell you, I would not worry about them. I think it's a fundamental shift of psychology in the way you look at your business. Those individuals, if you're in business and you're going to grow and scale a successful business that can run with or without you, for leaving at multiple points of time to go on vacation, if you're not doing this as a hobby, I do not want you to worry about people not paying their taxes and under the table. We're going to run a legitimate business that has employees on the books with workman's comp. We're going to pay them on the books. And we're not going to worry about the competition that's running a shoddy business that is not paying taxes and not creating a level playing field. What we're going to do is kind of have a shift of psychology. And what we're going to do is go in and talk about our services. One of the books I really recommend or authors is Dan Kennedy. Learn how to market. And we also want to go in and read some other books like Mike McAllowit's Pumpkin Plan. We want to be absolutely focused on where we want to go, from where we're at and where we're going. And by basically putting some blinders on like a horse, we're not going to be distracted by people that aren't playing the rules that we're playing. What we need to do, in my opinion, is go out just like we're doing with these videos and educate our potential consumer and answer the questions that people are asking and address the preconceived notions of people in the service industry, whether it's lawn care, snow removal, home cleaning. And very similar to Marcus Sheridan's book, They Ask You Answer, we are going to go out and just provide content and answer these questions. This is something I've been doing in my companies actually for the last 5 or 6 years. And when I bought into life cycle marketing, it was interesting. All the things I was concerned about people not playing by the rules, not paying their employees on the books, low ballers, it didn't matter. I systematically put these blinders on and put focus on where I wanted to be in the next 5 to 10 years and made goals, backed them out year by year and then month by month, and then made daily goals. Something very similar to this daily planner I use. It's by Michael Hyatt. There's a lot of them out there. But I have a big 3 that I track every day. And I know day by day what I need to accomplish to get to my goal. And when you're distracted by companies not playing by the rule, you are doing yourself a disservice and you're doing your team and family a disservice. Because if you have a goal and you want to be successful, you need to focus on the right things. And the first thing you need to focus on, in my opinion, is to learn how to sell and to learn how to market. And once you master those things, there is no one in your local competitor area that will be able to compete with you. We're taking price out of the equation. As long as we're in the ballpark, we're fine. But you can be the highest priced person in your market if you know how to market and if you know how to sell. And that all starts with education. And everybody right now in your market has a mobile phone. So if you are not going out 2 to 5 times a week in creating organic content and educating your local market, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're spending too much time focusing on what the competitor is doing and not where you need to be and focused on your business. So what I'm going to recommend as a step-by-step solution, we're going to start with a organic content game. We're going to go out and create videos. So why is the price of lawn mowing so high? What are the prices you should be paying? If you're the highest priced person in the market, what is included in the service? Is there a satisfaction guarantee? These are all the things that people ask you in your office on a daily basis. If you sit down and just make a mind dump of 100 to 150 things that people ask you every day that you take for granted. And the most obvious things that you think are obvious are the best pieces of content. But by doing so, we're going to systematically create a higher perceived value to our service. You are going to become the local expert. And now by the time you get to the actual estimate, whether it's online, over the phone, or in person, we have overcome any of the sales objections and price objections and taken price out of the equation. So when we went through in my lawn care company, we would go through a thing called short-term education once they contacted us. And based on the service they were interested for, like say lawn mowing, we would go in and tell them and show them how a professional service that paid their taxes, had employees on the books, and wasn't a lowballer would actually operate and perform the service. We went in to educate them basically how to sharpen their lawnmower blades, how to balance their lawnmower blades, maybe proper irrigation. And then in addition to that, we answered the most commonly asked questions around that specific service. Do I need to be home to have the lawn mowed? If I have a fence with a gate, is the contractor going to close it behind them so I don't have to worry about making sure the gate's closed before I let the kids and the pets in the backyard? All of these things are the difference. So if you're focusing on the wrong things of your competitors, not playing by the rules, or even your competitors that do play by the rules, you are distracted. We need laser focused attention on what we're doing with organic education. And it starts well before they even contact you, going out through Facebook, Instagram, and yes, even LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform if you are focusing more on commercial property maintenance or commercial cleaning. And we can target and retarget people with specific job titles. So we can go after property managers or whoever the decision makers are and actually get in front of them and give them education around that as well, and educate them why it is important to hire a contractor that may be a little more expensive in playing by the rules, but these are all the benefits. So the first thing we're going to do is change our mindset. We're going to be laser focused. We're going to put some blinders on like a horse and be focused. We're going to create a 5 to 10 year goal and back it out by year. And then for this year, I want to take it out by month and week by week. What are the executable big three? The three things, not more than three things that need to be accomplished each day to drive you forward to that monthly goal, the quarterly goal, the yearly goal, and then eventually your 5 to 10 year goal, which we're going to call a BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. We want to make it challenging enough to push you, but reasonable enough to be able to hit it. So by focusing on having a laser focused point of where you're going and what you need to do each day to educate or to get that goal, we're not going to worry about that competition. And then we're going to go out and organically create content around all the misconceptions of people that have about contractors. And then we're going to answer all the questions that people have about each specific service, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then once people go in and whether calls or hit our website or email us for a quote, we're going to continue that education based on the specific service they're interested in. That is going to take the focus off the things you shouldn't be focusing on and creating a roadmap for success each and every time for success. I really suggest going out and getting an education, and that was one of the most pivotal points in my business is when I hooked up with a gentleman at a roundtable. Name is Jonathan Batoshnak. Some of you guys may know him as Jonathan of the Lawn Care Millionaire. And it was instrumental in the growing of my business, as well as a little masterminds group that we formed with a gentleman named Chad Cranston and Garrett Matthews. You guys have probably seen them out and about in the social media atmosphere, and they're both crushing it, successful entrepreneurs. But it was a game-changing mindset of having laser focus of where I want to go and what I need to do it, and measuring it daily into a monthly and quarterly and yearly goal, and building a marketing system that educated, overcame price objections, and sales objections and created a higher perceived value. And once I did that, it did not matter what the competition was doing, whether we were playing by the rules or not. We were able to go out and charge what we needed to charge and go out and dominate the local towns that we needed to be in to build route density. So any comments or questions, drop them below. I'm sure going to be some naysayers and people that disagree with this. My opinion to the question is the way to deal with lowballers and non-legitimate companies is strictly ignore them, create a marketing plan and a plan that holds you accountable that goes out 5 to 10 years, back that into yearly goals, quarterly, monthly, and then weekly, and then daily goals, and track your progress. And it's all about organic marketing content on social media, as well as email marketing, and doubling down on Facebook Messenger bots where you can distribute that organic education as well. So we're going to go out proactively, ask the questions that people answer the questions that people ask, address the misconceptions and the bad black eye that most service industry folks have, differentiate ourselves, educate, be your local market expert. And when they go out to reach for that estimate from you as the expert now, we're going to educate them even more, specifically overcome those price objections for that specific service, and educate them how a professional does to raise that perceived value so we can charge that higher price. And when you go to close those jobs and you're closing them out at 65 to 75% closing ratio, you're not the low baller in your market. You're playing by the rules. You can sleep at night, and your employees will thank you because they're creating a repeatable revenue stream that they can get credit. They can go out and buy a house. They can buy a car, whatever they need. And trust me, your employees will respect you when you do that, or your potential employees down the line. And that is going to be a way that you can go out and recruit, train, and onboard really good employees because you are already differentiating yourself from the get-go as far as perception locally over social media. And then on your job ads, you can say, we always cut our paychecks on time every Friday. They never bounce. We have workman's comp and we have insurance to protect you. And these are the things that we do to basically create a culture of a legitimate company. And those are the companies that the good employees want to work for. So you're also, by doing that, you're also going to be weeding out and pre-qualifying a lot of the employees that are not going to be a long-term or good cultural fit. So the books that I mentioned earlier, Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz, great business book to focus on one or two really core services to drive that business home. Dan Kennedy's got a series of books for marketing. And we also want to go out and take a look at some books for life cycle marketing. One of the best ones, which is a really quick read, is Conquer the Chaos by Clayton Mask and Scott Martineau, the founders of Infusionsoft as well. So leave your comments below. But this is something I'm extremely passionate about. And not standing on a pedestal, I had the wrong mindset from the get-go, being worried about the things I can't control. But when we forget about the things around us and become laser focused on the things that are going to drive revenue and create a scalable business that has value and does not eventually need you to operate, that is the business that you probably want, in my opinion. And whether you're a solo entrepreneur, which is nothing wrong with that at all. I enjoyed a lot of the time on my truck by myself or being in the field, or you want to scale a multi-million-dollar business. The mindset is the same, and we want to drive a goal and back it into daily and weekly and be focused and forget about the negativity of the people that don't pay their taxes. They have employees off the books, or they're low ballers. And the thing is, those low ballers probably don't know any better. So if you happen to reach out and you create a network of local competitors and you play nice in the same sandbox, it doesn't hurt to educate your competition. When you change that mindset of laser focus and abundance, and there's enough work out there for everybody, and you're after the right kind of work for the right type of ideal customer in the right neighborhood with the right size lawn that's cookie cutter, so you can create predictable systems. A lot of times you can actually go out and help or educate your competitor of why they need to charge a certain price based on how to cover their overhead and their break even. So that's where business actually gets very interesting in the later years here. When I networked with a lot of local and national competitors that were in the same spot, we started talking to each other and talking about how we break our overhead down and how much we charge and why we charge that. And it was interesting. I don't want to say it leveled the playing field, but it created a synergy of like-minded companies that worked nicely parallel, and we didn't beat each other up. We tried to stay out of each other's commercial properties and not beat each other up, but know that we all were driving in a certain area. And as we started to talk to them, there were certain properties that were ideal for my company because of our equipment setup and our process and procedure, and other commercial properties were ideal for the other companies. So a lot of times, after communicating with these companies, we realized that, we weren't really a threat to each other, because this was kind of the lane I was going in. This is a lane they were going in, and we could work together in a common fashion to educate the residential and commercial potential clients, as well as clients, what actually goes into commercial landscape maintenance or residential landscape maintenance, and why these things are in place, and why we're charging what we're charging. And it's really not about a price, but it's the value and how a professional handles a satisfaction guarantee with no questions. They come out and fix it. Why we're carrying a $2 million liability policy, because if we damage their house or their home, if we didn't have that insurance, it would be left on them to actually handle that. And that was the turning point, as we took those issues and turned them into marketing. The whole equation changed, and it allowed us to scale exponentially. And then eventually we automated a lot of that marketing or education through video and text. So any comments, questions, drop them below. Interested in your thoughts.